Hi guys, I'm starting a new series called Sound Like. In this series I will take sounds of famous artists and will teach you how to play them, how to match the sound and how to record it. And all this with your actual gear without robbing a bank. So once a month I will upload the performance of the song, the lesson of the song and backing tracks for you to practice. Hi, this is Mordy, the autistic guitarist. Yes, I still have that accent. Okay, for this first series, the song is Always on the Run by Lenny Kravitz and Slash. You can find my performance of the song right here. So, in this video we'll learn in depth about the song from different points of view. First of all, the story behind the song, the sound of the song and its production, how to record it, and obviously how to play it. For the transcription of the song, I worked with the original tracks. I found treasures of little tips that will help you to play the song accurately and with the right feel. Simply by asking me in the comment section, you can get from me the PDF or the Guitar Pro tabs. And in the links here, you can get the backing tracks of the entire song or the backing track of the solo part, at your convenience. Slash has written the song with the original intention to play it with Guns N' Roses. But the former drummer Steven Adler didn't succeed to play it. So Slash saved it for an eventual collaboration with Lenny Kravitz. Slash and Lenny Kravitz are old friends from the high school. So in 1990, after the Guns N' Roses European tour, Slash joined Lenny Kravitz in New York and recorded the song with him. In this song, Slash is playing the main riff and the solo part, and Lenny Kravitz is playing absolutely everything there. Drums, bass, second guitar. Slash sound is humbuckers and Marshall. That's it. I will help you to match the characteristics of his sound, as close as possible. The Slash humbucker is 8.40K. This is not a high output and not a vintage output. This is between. The amp is punchy, growly and extremely dynamic, and mid-focused. I am pretty sure that Slash and Lenny Kravitz recorded on the same amp. The gain is coming from the cranked amp. We can imitate it. A cranked amp has a really compressed sound. We can simulate it with a good overdrive pedal and a compressor pedal.
As an overdrive pedal, I decided to use my Origin Effects Revival drive. I don't set a high level of gain and cut the low frequencies. As I told you, a cranked amp provides a really compressed sound. So, to simulate it, I add a compressor before my overdrive. I use the Empress compressor. And I set a quick release and attack.
For more gain or solos, Slash is using an MXR boost pedal. In the description I will put you a link of good pedals that could help you. In this song you can hear a very mid-range frequencies sound. We could think that both Slash and Kravitz are playing with a wah pedal in the half position, but it is more about EQ.
Here are the frequencies of the original Slash track. As you can see, there are no low and high frequencies. The guitar is focused between the 100 and 4K frequencies. Try to set your gear until you reach those frequencies. The best way to get the exact range of frequencies is to use an equalizer pedal. Slash himself uses one. If you don't have one, after recording, you can use the equalizer of your recording software. I personally use the Source Audio EQ2. It is very accurate and user-friendly. Like in the Slash track, I set the low and high frequencies down and push the mid frequencies.
You can hear a really short and roomy reverb on the original tracks. Here is how to get this reverb.
I am using a simple SM57 and an AKG C214. Because the SM57 brings in the high frequencies, I don't put it in the center of the speaker diaphragm. So I put the C214 in the center. To get a natural and roomy reverb, I put my microphones about 3 feet from my amp cabinet. Be careful not to have phase issues using two microphones.
For the first part of the main riff, play laid back. This angry bend is really important. There is a swing feel on the second part of the main riff. It's really important. It's kind of lane rhythm. The Lenny Kravitz part is really cool. It's a funky part with a punchy right hand and laid back. the solo part. In the first part of the solo, you have a boogie feel involving open strings. Okay, this lick even in the slash isolated track is not really clear, so it's my interpretation. In the second part of the solo, you have this bending and those outside notes. In the third part of the solo, you have this fast bluesy lick. And in this section you have 30-second notes. In the fourth part of the solo, you have a modulation in B. In the fifth part, you have this turning bluesy lick. And I have this trick with my right hand to play it faster. Down, up, up. Down, up, up. And in this last part, you have this bluesy lick in E pentatonic. Okay, that's it for today with this first episode of this series. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't hesitate to give me your feedback or ideas. Don't forget to subscribe, it's really important. And you can also hit the like, it's good for my statistics. My music, The Autistic Guitarist, is on iTunes and on Spotify. And my book Autism, Falafel and Rock and Roll is on Amazon. See you guys next week!